All right, mate, how you doing? Welcome back to another video. England have just defeated Senegal in the first knockout round of the World Cup 2022. They've done it in decent fashion, 3-0. It never looked too in doubt. Once we got that first goal, the dominoes fell, and it was a foregone conclusion. We did it relaxed. We did it with style and aplomb, and we've got a little bit used to that, to be honest, with Gareth Southgate. These critics are saying we haven't played hard teams and all this stuff. When we play the beatable teams, we tend to win every time. And that's a lot more than we can say for other England managers in the past. So today, I want to focus on a few things. Obviously, buzzing that we're into the quarterfinals of the World Cup. I want to talk about what that means for Southgate's tenure and his reputation and how we should get behind him and the boys as a nation if we're not already. And I want to talk about one other thing. Jude bloody Bellingham, who I'm going to say right at the top of this video is one of the best footballers on the planet right now. I'm not saying he's going to be quality. He's going to be one of the best players ever. He's going to be England captain. He's going to win a Ballon d'Or one day. I'm saying he could win one this year. If England win the World Cup, he would get my vote. I don't think people realise, maybe tonight they did. Maybe tonight was the moment that it changed in their brains. How good Jude Bellingham is. Not how good he will be. How good he is now. I've been saying all World Cup, I think he's our best player currently. Not will be. He's our best player. He does things that most players can only do some of. He does it all. He's like Lampard, Gerrard, Scholes rolled into one. He's got a box-to-box midfielder in him. He's got skills that none of them ever had. I can't remember a centre midfielder for England. Maybe Gaza that had this sort of ability, but then he couldn't do what Bellingham can do the other way. He's an athlete. He's tall. He's got the combination, or the comparison with the likes of, say, Pedri and Gavi right now, who have beaten him to the last 2 Golden Boy awards. But there's things he can do that they can't do. And yes, there are things that they can do that he probably can't do. They're maybe a little bit better passers of the ball. But the way he moves around the pitch, the distance he covers, the athleticism he shows, they can't do that. He's the modern day Ruud Gullit. He's a player that I don't remember us having someone like in the England team. And he's making us tick. He's involved in everything good that we do. Honestly, the way he carried that ball out of essentially a defensive position to then get that goal going, that was the Harry Kane goal. He didn't get the assist for it, but he got the pre-assist, and he played it to Foden, who played it to Kane. And then, of course, he did get the assist for the earlier goal scored by Jordan Henderson. He had a slightly quiet game in the group stage, but he had an amazing first game against Iran, and he was good again against Wales. USA game, he was slightly more quiet. And today, it was another superb performance. He will almost certainly be in the team of the tournament. I think one more round for England, if we go through, then he'll get that. And we're going to talk about that game coming up against France in a minute. But I actually believe he's our best current player. And I think he's in the conversation of being one of the best players in the world. I actually think 2 of the 3 best players in the world right now are going to come head-to-head in the next round. I think Jude Bellingham, Kylian Mbappe, and Erling Haaland are the 3 best footballers on the planet right now. I'm not going to give you an order. I don't think I need to. But I think they're the 3 best players on the planet. That's including the likes of Messi, Ronaldo. Messi is actually showing a bit of a renaissance in this World Cup that he might still be at it at the top level. And Messi is in that conversation for sure, whereas I thought he'd dropped off more. But he's actually been unbelievable. So I might add Messi back into that conversation after another round or 2 of the World Cup if they progress. But Jude Bellingham is unbelievable. What an exciting player to watch. I'm sure you guys agree. You probably think I'm overhyping him, some of you, and you think that it's a bit of England bias, but I can only tell you what I see. And these eyes see a world-class footballer playing in an England shirt, and I'm absolutely buzzing for it. Now then, let's talk about the game in its essence. Apart from just the Bellingham factor, we did very well. I have one point of concern, and that is the big chance that Senegal had at 0-0. That thank God Pickford stuck his massive left hand out. It wasn't just a reaction save, by the way. He batted it away, and he put it away in a good area, which meant there was no, follow-up opportunity for the Senegalese. That's a massive save, because that's my only concern. At 0-0, you can't afford to concede that goal there. If we go 1-0 down against Senegal there, it's going to be a very different game, in my opinion. They're going to get behind the ball, and we're going to be really hard for us to break down. Instead, when we took the lead, they had to come out a little bit, and we punished them. I think the first goal against France in the quarterfinal is going to be crucial. I think if we concede it, we'll be in big trouble. I think if we score it, we'll win the game in 90 minutes. So that's the only concern there, is that 0-0, we need to be a little bit more tight and stop those chances. They showed a few moments of pace. That one when Dia ran straight at Harry Maguire and got round him. Harry Maguire did make a recovery tackle, but that concerned me a little bit. And obviously, the French team do have pace, not just Mbappe. They have Dembele as well, who could run at us. But in terms of Southgate, I mean, I'm the leader of the Southgate fan club. I absolutely love the man, and I'm loyal to the man, and I'll back the man whatever happens. My message when I say about Southgate is really talking to the anti-Southgate brigade. So I don't need to convert those of you that are already on Team Southgate. And I think the next game for them, the anti-Southgate set, the sort of Rory Jennings of the world, I think the next game is going to define his tenure as England manager. I think if we lose to France, probably for these people who are anti-Southgate, I think regardless of how we lose, they'll deem him a failure. They'll say he didn't win 2018, he didn't win the Euros, and he didn't win this World Cup. I don't look at it like that personally. I think now, today, was the only way Southgate's tenure, assuming it ends at the end of this World Cup, could be deemed a failure, would be if we'd lost today. I think now we've beaten Senegal and we've beaten them in style. We've reached our minimum viable product, if you like, of what was expected of us. And now we're playing with not so much house money. I don't think we're massive underdogs going into France, but I think it could go either way. And I think if we lose with, giving ourselves some credit and not a disastrous defeat and a huge thrashing, then I think that's okay. I don't want it to happen, obviously, but I don't feel entitled to more. I think that's the difference between me and some England fans who think we're entitled to win everything. Well, I don't understand why. I think Southgate now has earned the right to be hugely respected for whatever happens from this point on. He has consecutively given us these moments of enjoyment at tournaments where I started that game and when the Senegal went through, I had these feelings of nervousness that come back to me that they first came around when I watched, us lose to Argentina in 1998 as a 10-year-old, or I watched us lose to Germany in 2010 with the Frank Lampard goal moment, or I watched us get grouped, 2014, 4 years later, the penalty shootouts of 2004 and 2006, the Brazil defeat of 2002. All these memories come back. Southgate has consecutively delivered when we need him to and got us through these games with not too much to worry about. And that's why the man deserves my utmost respect. He has just done a fantastic job. And I back him whatever happens. If you're asking me my opinion on what we should do next game, I think he shouldn't change it. I think he didn't really change the style and the shape of the team from the Wales game. The only difference was he brought Saka back in for Rashford. Some people would have said he shouldn't do that. I actually said he should start Rashford myself in the last video, based on my opinion, based on Rashford being full of confidence and scoring goals. But Saka was as well. Saka scored 2 against Iran. And what did he do here? He came back in and he scored again with a lovely dinked finish, by the way. So we're lucky. Even with this Raheem Sterling situation, which there's a rumour going around that his house has been burgled and he's had an issue, his family were there and he's had to go home and hopefully he'll come back. But if he doesn't, he doesn't. We understand family, you can't mess about. But even with Raheem Sterling going home, we have such depth in that area, the likes of Grealish to come off the bench, Rashford to come off the bench. You can play any combination of those players and we won't be in too much trouble. And he might change it against France in those areas. He might go to a back five. I don't think he should, personally, but I believe he knows a lot more than me, so I'll back whatever he does. The back five thing would be very typical Southgate if he did do it, to combat what is a dangerous French attack. But I think we're showing that we can be dangerous going forward. And I think with that middle three that he's now using, with Henderson in there, we're a little bit more compact as a middle three. Bellingham has a license just to go everywhere. But even with him having that license, the engine he has still means he does a lot defensively. Rice is obviously very defensive-minded. And then Henderson isn't venturing too far up anyway. He goes to the right a lot, Henderson, which I do enjoy. But he doesn't, he controls the midfield and he keeps us pretty safe in there. So I think we could get away with a back four. We have to have Kyle Walker in there, though. We know that against Mbappe. That's crucial to control his pace. But this game is going to be huge. I do think it will define Southgate's tenure for the anti-Southgate lot. Not for me. It's a success now, whatever happens. I just want us to do ourselves justice. If we beat France, I think we would probably become the favourites of the World Cup because the French have looked so impressive. They looked so good, didn't they, earlier today when they beat Poland. I know Poland are a different kind of outfit, but they're probably not that different to Senegal in terms of ability. We've both dispatched our opposition fairly well. In fact, all the favourites have won so far. Argentina have beat Australia and Netherlands have beaten USA. So all the big teams are going through. That's a massive matchup for the quarterfinal. Argentina versus Netherlands. England against France is huge. We could see Spain versus Portugal in another one if the games go the way we think we will. And then it's going to be Brazil versus South Korea or Croatia. So some really exciting quarterfinals to come. But the England-France one for me is the big one. Obviously, we're biased, but I think the winner of that becomes the favourite for the competition. And the only reason it wouldn't be Brazil is because they're not going to have to overcome as big an opposition. If they were to beat a Spain or an Argentina, you'd say something different. But we've got to be positive, guys. We've got to feel so confident after that. And I'm very aware we could get beat by France on Saturday night. Some people, I think if I take my English biasness out of it, I think people will probably back France more than us. They are the reigning world champions, and often that comes with the World Cup sort of hangover curse. We haven't seen that. French have been very, very impressive considering the amount of players they're missing. But I'm not actually sure they're weaker as a result of missing those players. They've won a World Cup with Giroud and no Benzema before. So I don't think they're weaker without Benzema in there, even though he's an amazing option, a Ballon d'Or winner to have in there, obviously. And in the middle, Kante and Pogba, we know what they can do in their pomp, but they've both had injury issues. They've not played a lot of games. I'm not sure they'd be loads better with them based on the seasons they've had. But obviously a year or so ago, yeah, and Pogba's always been stronger for France than he was for Man United, but he's not really played at Juve. So I think they're looking good either way. You know, they're missing Kimpembe as well. They lost Hernandez to injury. But we've lost a few. We've had no Chilwell, no James. We just happen to have really good covering fullback. Likewise, Sterling missing today, White out for the tournament. We've had our own issues. We just haven't lost our undroppable players. Like if we lost to Bellingham, I think we'd be in big trouble. If we lost to centre-half, I think we'd be in big trouble. Even Harry Kane, even though he's only got one goal, he's going about his business in such a superb fashion, really leading the side. I think we'll be in big trouble without Harry Kane as well. So we probably couldn't cope with losing that level of players that the French have lost. But I still think their team is unbelievable. And I think they're showing that their performances. So it's as tough a test as we're going to get. If you don't believe now, if you're not a it's coming home, believer, if we beat France, you've got to be. If we beat France, no matter how we beat them, whether it's a boring game and we nick an extra time goal or a penalty shootout, whatever, if we beat France, you have to really believe. And listen, there's nothing wrong with believing. Even if it comes to nothing, even if we lose tragically to France or someone else down the line and we don't win the World Cup, believing is the best bit, whether it's for 3 days, for 2 weeks, for the rest of your life. I'm in that camp, by the way. I'll always believe. It's just better to believe than be a cynic. If you've got to be a cynic, guys, let's wait for it to go wrong. At least wait for it to go wrong. But my stance on Southgate, as I've mentioned, is that even if it goes wrong, I will still back him. I don't think he should necessarily continue as England manager after this tournament, even if we win it. I think he's earned the right to move on because I think it's a job that puts you under so much pressure and affects your life that it's probably for the best of his mental health that he moves on. But he will have my backing. He will be my favourite England manager of all time, unless someone else comes along and wins the World Cup and he doesn't. But what he's done has been amazing. The way he's made me feel about the national team, the results he's given us, the competition experiences he's given us, and the figurehead he's been for this country, and the way he handles things, the way he handles significant adversity at times is inspirational. That's why one of the main reasons I love Southgate. I think as an international manager, it's not the same as a club manager at all. You have to represent the country, almost like a elected official in a way. You're not elected by the people. Maybe you should be. That's a different debate. But you are the representative of the people on the world stage. And he is such a good man to have represent us. So we back him. Whatever team he plays against France, whatever happens against France, we back him. But we're going to go to war next Saturday with the French. I cannot wait for it. Mbappe scares the living heck out of me. I saw him play earlier and I came up. We did our live stream watching this game. I turned up in this office and I said to the boys, I'm terrified. I said on Twitter, it's Mbappe's World Cup and we're just living in it, right? Maybe it's Bellingham's. Maybe it's Bellingham's. Maybe it's bloody Slabhead, Harry Maguire's World Cup. Maybe it's Gareth's. Maybe we could do it. You don't know we won't. I don't know we won't. Let's wait and see what happens 6 days from now when we go to war with the French. But whatever happens, I'm very proud of this team. And if you're proud too, drop a like on this video. If you're excited, right, it's coming home in the comments below. And let me know who's going to win the World Cup. Subscribe for more and get involved on Twitch for more live streams, more watch-alongs. We're doing plenty of them. Until next time, don't go changing. Come on, England.